Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend. Very excited for this Rifter who's coming on the Rifts. He's an author who just wrote a book called Isaac in the Sky. Author Mark Benson will be here and we will talk about his new book, Isaac and the Sky. It follows a teen's healing journey to discover Planet 9. Excellent. I'm very interested in Planet 9.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hey, Rifters, welcome to the show. We got author Mark Benson here. Mark, so when the producer was giving you like the rules, the reason is because like the past 3 times my internet has gone down, and like everyone's like, wait, where's Keith? I'm like, no, I'll come back. But like, I gotta pay my internet bill. I think that's a sign of God telling me.
Yeah, it might be one of those. I mean, if you're used to referring to your internet provider as God, then
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. But these things, because I always thought like they bill my parents or something, but I have a different whatever. Anyways, how are you, Mark?
Good. How you doing?
Doing good. So you're here to talk about your new book, Isaac in the Sky, which did it just come out, or is it on the verge of coming out, or?
So it came out at the very end of last year.
Oh, it came out last year. Wow.
Yeah, the very end of last year, and just kind of starting to really, kind of spread around talking about it on different platforms as we go, and so I'm glad I could get around to you right here.
I gotta be honest with you, Mark. You are the first author I've ever interviewed. Like usually I interview like actors and stuff, but ooh. I found you very interesting because
how's that?
I don't know. Because one, when people send me books, I'm like, oh, I'll read it, but I never really read it, And I didn't want to do that to you. Like, in my defense, no one sent me the book. But,
good. I'm glad it didn't get you.
Yeah. But I read the little pitch, and how, like, something that's very interesting to me is I love space. And it seems like you're a space dude. So, like, I figured,
am. Yeah, I got my Wally hoodie on today, so space of all kinds.
So like space I find to be very fascinating because we know so much about it, but we also know so little about it.
Yeah, we know a lot of things, but we also know enough to know we've got a long way to go. So, yeah.
It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those interesting discussions. So. Let's talk about the book. Because like I said, I don't really know what the book is about, but can you like guide us to how it is?
Yeah. So the book is so it's Isaac in the Sky, and when Isaac was 8, his mom was murdered, and he became he became.
I meant like who? Nice. We're getting into the action.
Yeah, we're getting right into it. Yeah, we're wasting no time. Right into the bad, which is where I start everything I do. So, so when that happened, obviously, worst thing that you could imagine happening, to a kid. That moment of when it happens and the police are there and they're kind of taking Isaac out of the home to make sure he's good and safe and taken care of, and they're leading him out. He go back and he grabs his puppy, so it's just him and his puppy kind of going out of the house, and basically everything he has left. And a news photographer, captures a picture of Isaac, of a very sad Isaac with his puppy, with police lights scattered all around, and he instantly becomes like the most famous kid in the world.
Oh my gosh.
The picture just lights up and goes everywhere, goes viral, goes all around the world repeatedly. So he instantly becomes famous for the worst day of his life. And so the story in the book starts 10 years later, and he's 18, and it's the 10th anniversary of it. and the news wants to know, they want to get in back and find out what happened to the kid from the photo, 10 years later. And throughout that whole period, he's become, a kid who doesn't socialize. He spends most of his time kind of hiding in his parents' old abandoned house with his much older dog. And he's kind of bullied at school, and he has an adoptive uncle that takes care of him, and the adoptive uncle is very kind of very kid gloves, it's not a parent, he doesn't really know what to do. Yeah. And overall, he's just kind of stuck hiding from the world. And one of the things that his mom was tried to be into, that he definitely got Isaac into, was astronomy and telescopes. And so it's kind of one of the hobbies he has left. And he volunteers at an local observatory, and he, that's kind of the one thing he does. And one night with his mom's old telescope, he accidentally discovers a true ninth planet in our solar system, and something that no one has ever seen before. He doesn't know it instantly when he sees it, because it's just a blurry dot really far away, and he's like, that doesn't fit, that shouldn't be there, what is that? So he has to do his research, and he has to continue observing and do all the science throughout the story to figure out what he's found. But he finds this planet, and he's the only one who knows it's there. And if he tells everyone, because this would be the biggest story in the world about some kid finding a new planet,
he'll be famous again.
And he is kind of stuck trying to figure out if he's going to keep this to himself, or if he's going to share it, because there really is nothing more dangerous in the world to this kid than this planet. Having something that everyone's going to want to see and everyone's going to want to know, having a big piece of news. There's nothing you could come up with that would be worse for this kid. This is the last thing he wants his hands around. But he's enthusiastic about all these things. He does his volunteering, and he's made a discovery most people would die for. And he has to figure out what if anything, to do with the discovery. So that's kind of the kind of setup for the book. And
that sounds like something I would want to read.
Well, good. I hope so. So it plays out with him trying to figure out what to do with the discovery, but it's not a science book. It's not a science manual. If you're into astronomy and you're into space, you're going to read enough stuff in there to know that I'm an astronomer and I did my research and I know how this would work if someone made a discovery like this. Obviously, it's fiction, and it's a stunning thing for someone to actually discover in real life. The science is good, but it's not a science manual. It's not about that. It really is. It's about what he's going to do with this discovery and how it relates to his life and how he's trying to heal, but he can't quite figure out his place in the world. And he's in a tough little corner for himself as he's getting older, and so it's about trauma and dealing with trauma and dealing with life and death and trust and who to share with and who not to share with, and with a little bit of space science thrown on top.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like my life story. How did you know all this stuff?
That's amazing that I nailed that. Yeah, I was a little nervous when I saw your name pop up in my email. I was like, oh, he's gonna find out.
Oh yeah,
I did that. None of it. Well, you can tell me how good I did.
You did great.
You should read it now. Tell me if I did all right, with your story. So
I'm definitely gonna read it, but with that pitch, I would say that's 30% accurate. You know what I mean? None of the whole bad stuff happened to me, but I've been alone and bullied, and I had a puppy, stuff like that.
Yeah.
How many times did it take you to write this? Because I write scripts, and writing scripts and books are totally different.
Sure, and I've taken my swat at some scripts and some playwriting, and it's a very different mechanism and cadence, and Everything. It took me, so I write, I outline very heavily. That's kind of the first thing. So, like, before I actually start really writing, like, I've really got the story where I want it. It took me about 27 days to go cover to cover, to have a draft. Now, then went back and did plenty of revisions and had people read it and take notes from that and make some changes there. I outline very heavily, so I get to a draft. I always say, because I outline so heavily, that I don't write first drafts, I write second drafts. I kind of skip the first one by outlining. And this was a story that came together very quickly. They don't always come together that fast. But this one just was like a good sweet spot. Like, it was what I was interested in. I was, it hit on expertise for me. It also hit on, the other stuff that I write, whether it's astronomy related or not. A former literary agent of mine told me that my superpower was sadness. And I thought, okay, I mean, flying would be great, but I'll take sadness. I mean, that's fine. There's a character.
It sounds like we have the
so
same
great.
agent.
Yeah. So I thought, so it's a sad book, but it involves astronomy. So I was able to kind of play off a couple things, and it came together really quickly. It was one that sometimes you get really excited about an idea, and I think this is the greatest idea ever. I'm going to spend the next 2 months or whatever working on this. This is great. And then you wake up the next morning, and you're like, that was stupid. Why was I so obsessed for that for like 7 hours? Like, what was that? This was never going to be that. I knew this from maybe 30 minutes after I had the initial concept in my head. Like, I knew that, like, okay, no, this is a story. This one's real. I got this one. I had the idea. I was at the Adler Planetarium, where I was a volunteer in Chicago here for a bit, teaching people about telescopes. And they had a sky show where they actually had astronomers talking about their search for what they believe is a ninth planet out there in the solar system. And they've looked at the circumstantial evidence, and they believe there's a giant out there. They believe there's a huge ninth planet out there in our solar system. And they have all the resources and all the PhDs and observatories on mountaintops. They have everything you could want to try to do, like, the perfect search.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 second. There we go. Cat playing with me.
Oh, no worries.
So they kind of had all the resources they could do it, and they believe it's there, and they haven't found it yet. And when I came out of the show, I was kind of standing, overlooking the parking lot, trying to figure out where my car was. And I thought, what if just like some kid accidentally found it? Like, what if some kid with none of those things accidentally made their discovery for them in their backyard with a crappy little telescope in a light polluted city? What would that be like? And I started thinking about it, and I walked to my car, and by the time I got to my car, I had sat down, and I grabbed a notebook that I had in there, and I just scribbled, with his mom's telescope, Isaac sees something that no one's ever seen before, and in turn, he hopes the world will see him in a way they've never seen him before. And as soon as I scribbled that, I thought, yeah, that's a story. Like, that's good. That's got legs. I got this one. That's good. And I think I had most of the story outlined on my drive home. Like, I had it.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I've only had a few like that. I've only had a few happen like that. Usually, you have to it's pulling teeth a little bit to get a full story. But this one came very quickly. So
yeah, I was gonna say, because like, I've never written a book, but like I said, when I write scripts, I'm probably rewriting them 4 or 5 times before I'm like, okay, let's try and send this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the fact that you did it in 20... Yeah, I've
had those too, but this one was a clearly from the beginning. This one was a special story for me to write. Like, this was. I've joked sometimes that I've had story ideas in my head that I don't. I'm like, well, this is a really good idea, but I'm not sure how to write it. And then I kind of joke with myself that that story, it's not my fault. The story landed in the wrong brain. Like, I'm not the right writer for that one. This one landed with the right person. So yeah.
And you know what else is very fascinating? I don't know if you've noticed this, but you and I look exactly alike.
We have very similar glasses here. Yeah. We're doing good on the glasses. We've got this going here.
We're both handsome.
Yeah. Movie star good looks. Yeah.
I know. So
made for the screen.
That's what I'm saying. Well, I'm saying like fate put us all together in some way. You know
Plus,
what I mean?
30% of the story is you, so that's a good start. The rest of it is just good, just good looks.
That's really good. Now, I wanted to ask you about this Planet Nine theory. Is this a real? Is this a real theory, or is this like?
It is, yeah. So it's out there, and they're still looking. It's a big sky. The circumstantial evidence is really good. I'm not, nearly smart enough to know whether it's, going to be found or what percentage likelihood it is that it's real. But the evidence that the astronomers who are searching for it have put out there made a lot of sense to me. They're primarily working off of kind of gravitational waves, and they're showing that there's a pull, that there's a force out there that's playing on objects here, and when they put in their models, it kind of spat out a thing that said, well, the result of that, it's kind of like geometry, or not geometry, it's kind of like algebra, where it's like solve for x, and it's like, well, I've got the answer. The answer is all of the stuff is like spinning this way and pushed over here. So what would x be? Well, x would be a planet. Like, that would solve the quandary. Why are things doing this? Well, a planet would explain it. So it makes sense. But like I said, it's a big sky. They haven't found it. And when I was writing the book, I emailed with one of the astronomers a couple times. He was very generous to email me back. I basically, I hit him up a little bit about some of their process. And also, where in the sky have they not looked? Like, where are they not looking yet? I told them that, I need this planet to be close enough to us that a kid could see it from a backyard. Where in your presumed orbit would the planet have to be for that to even be remotely possible? And he kind of showed where that would be. And then I started writing it, and I just kept, every day I would like turn on the news and be like, please let them not have found it. Like, don't find it yet. I'm still writing. Like, now they can find it. It would be just fine. It'd probably actually be good if they found it now. It'd be good for me now. But until I was done writing it and put it out, I was just like, please, please, please. Sorry, I want you guys to find this thing, but just give me a few more months.
So you're like the one dude when the news was coming on, you're like, keep talking about the horrible shit.
Yeah, there's so much more horrible stuff to talk about. We're not done with it. Like, we're not done. Don't get to the good stuff yet. Come on. Give me a little more time.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's fascinating, man. Like I said, I'm very interested in space because even though I don't know a lot about it, but I have this thing called Asperger's syndrome, so I'm very, like, I kind of like the quiet and the stars and stuff, and the only thing I know is the only thing about space is if you cry, no one will see you crying.
No one would hear it, so it's no good. It doesn't do you any good. Yeah.
So I find that
it's a very sad book about space, but no one out there could hear this kid crying the whole time.
Exactly. And I find that to be very fascinating because I feel like maybe that's the type of world we're all living in, where people are afraid to cry. So like
and a lot of it, a lot of it with this kid in the story was about how he doesn't even know what recovery looks like. He was little when this happened, so he doesn't have really like a good guide. There's no manual for it. He's kind of put himself in a position where the world has defined him. That he's Isaac. We all know who Isaac is. Isaac is this sad kid that had this sad thing happen to him, and he's living this sad life, and he's in this house, and no one really sees him much except for at school, and he's so it's the world's always going to do that to people. That's not something I think is going to change, but Isaac for a long time just kind of accepts that he's been written into everybody else's story as this sad secondary character. He's been defined by everybody, and he is playing his part, and he hopes that if he plays his part, people will leave him alone. And it's not making him happy, and he kind of figures that out, but he kind of figures, play my part, and people will leave me alone, even to the point where the book opens. As much as he wants to be by himself, the book opens with him agreeing to one TV interview to update the world on the sad kid 10 years later. And his hope, he doesn't want to do the interview, but the hope is that if he just does one, like if he pokes his head out once and just gives the world what they want, he plays his part, then they'll go back to leaving him alone again for a while. But things start to turn for the better for him, not when he... So that doesn't go well. Things start going well for him when he realizes that, which is something that I hope people take away from the book, is that you are allowed to be the main character in your own story. You don't have to be defined by other people. You want to be, a good, wonderful part of society, whatever part or however much you want to be part of society, and whatever corner of it you want to be in. You want to be a good, kind person and share and be respectful and be helpful and be all these, altruistic things. And those are super important to person. But you also get to put yourself first, especially when you're trying to figure yourself out and you're in such a hole. I mean, he is in a real hole. He's starting really, really, really far behind. Yeah. And he has to allow himself to be his own main character. He doesn't get to just let the world cast him. He gets to decide, no, they think I'm this, but I kind of think maybe I'm this. I should give that a try. What would happen if I give this a try? What if Isaac is this? What if I'm this? And when he starts doing those things, others start to change how they treat him, and things start to open up and kind of bubble in his world in a way that he wants, not for service of everybody else, but in a way that he wants. He finds a corner of the world that he's good being at and happier with. But it only starts because he finally says, well, I'm not doing what other people want me to do. I'm not going to be Isaac the sad kid. I'm going to be Isaac, and if the world can take me or leave me, but this is what I'm going to be.
It's also very ironic that it happens that 10 years on the 10-year anniversary of his mother going away, right?
Yeah.
So well, that's kind of, I don't know. That's kind of like, how come it couldn't happen during Christmas? You know what I mean?
Any time would have been good. We write fictions.
Yeah, you got
a good anniversary is a nice little nugget to lean on. So.
You should make a TV show about this, Mark.
We should. Yeah. You know anybody?
Of course, I'm a celebrity.
I forgot about that. I forgot. We looked so similar that I was like, well, no, I'm not a celebrity, so
yeah.
But if you've got it figured out, then yeah, I mean, you just I'll send it to you. You send it to whoever you want. Tell them it's guaranteed gold. Tell them, look, you thought Project Hail Mary was popular. Wait till you read this kid's book.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Get me on that track. That's fine.
Mark, I'm the best pitcher in this business. Seriously, I mean, whenever I pitch, and if it doesn't go well, I automatically, I have a backup card, right?
You cry.
I say, no, I don't. I don't cry.
Okay.
Because then that makes you look insecure that you don't believe in your product. So, if I'm pitching a movie or a TV show and they're not liking it, I just say this. The Lego version.
See?
Everyone loves Legos.
Everyone loves. I mean, I've got the Eiffel Tower built upstairs in my room, all 5 feet tall of it. So
let's do it.
Lego is like the opposite of writing a novel, because it comes with instructions.
Yeah, exactly.
And you don't really have to, and all the pieces are there to start with. So.
So we were talking about the Planet 9 and stuff, but there's other mysteries in space. What other mysteries do you like about space?
So, my favorite, there's ones that I try to think about where I'll be like, I really want to learn about that. It seems interesting, and the more I learn about it, the more I'm like, my brain melts, and I don't I can't even get if you have someone try to explain black holes to me or dark matter to me, and they try to explain it, they do a very good job at it, and I'm just left going, my brain does not does not wrap around that. I really like the concept of that. I think it's become more interesting in the past couple decades here through some of NASA's work. Is when I was growing up, the main thought was, okay, so there's really no life in our solar system. We've got all these planets here, but like we don't really think there's anybody living on these. So if there is life out there, we're going to have to go find it really, 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 really far away. And even if we somehow detected it, it would take so long to even communicate or get to these places that in our lifetime, like, you might discover something might be there, but you're never really going to know much about it. But NASA has found some fascinating things in our own solar system lately as in the past couple decades, but in particular, that I think is the most interesting. And so you look at a place, you look at Jupiter or Saturn, you go, well, these big gas giant planets, nobody's living on those. Life that we could even comprehend couldn't have any place in a planet like that, so it's probably nothing there. But they started to realize that these big planets, especially out farther, have a lot of moons. And a lot of these moons have frozen oceans, have like icy crusts, and then these oceans kind of inside. And as one example, there's a moon around Saturn named Enceladus. And through crevices, it's actually venting water into space. And
what's it called again?
It's called Enceladus, and it's a moon of Saturn. It's a very small little moon of Saturn. And the Cassini mission did some good research and good flybys of Enceladus to determine that it was venting water into space through what are believed to be hydrothermal vents way down through the icy shield and into these oceans that are way underneath. And we have hydrothermal vents like that here. We have salt water here. If you went fishing on Earth, you'd find, you'd catch stuff. If you went down to hydrothermal vents here at the ocean floor on our planet, you'd find it teeming with life. Enceladus has these things. It has salt water. It has hydrothermal vents. So what happens if you go fishing on Enceladus? And there's a few other moons that have been discovered like that we're going back to take closer looks at based on their chemistry and finding these ocean worlds. And they're right here in our own cosmic backyard. And that's very exciting to me that there could be things, we're learning more about things that could be here in our neighborhood as opposed to just, do I personally think that there are billions of intelligent life forms on billions of planets out there? I do. I think the universe is just teeming with life all over the place.
Yeah.
Are there intelligent beings in our solar system? We probably would have found them at this point, but I mean, to go to one of these moons and to find, fish or whatever it might be, big creatures like that would be stunning, for people to see. So it gets me excited about looking around here. So I've talked with a lot of the scientists who are working on some of those missions, and I got to go out to NASA to watch the end of the Cassini mission to Saturn, to learn more about it in person. And that's where I get excited about space exploration. It isn't all the way out there. It's there's a lot more going on in our solar system than we realized.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think there's stuff out there too. Like, I happen to believe in aliens because if you've met my grandmother, you'd be like, she's definitely not here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we probably share the same grandma, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell her I'm doing good. Yeah, tell her I was on tonight. That's good. No, I think they're all. I always love the Carl Sagan quote that if it's just us, it's a pretty big waste of space.
Yeah.
I mean, that just kind of sums it up. Pretty, like, why would it just be us? Like, people say, how can you imagine there would even be something out there like that? How could you wrap your brain around the idea that there's something else out there like us or intelligent? And I'm like, how can you wrap your brain around the idea that there isn't? Like, there's so much out there. It's growing and expanding as we go. How I can't comprehend the idea that there isn't, that we're that unique.
If you could pick a favorite planet, like, let's not say Earth because we're on Earth and we know everything about Earth.
That's cheating. Yeah, and right these days it's not my favorite anyway. So under no circumstances would it be my favorite. It's really far behind.
Okay, so let's skerdoodle Earth. What's your favorite planet?
Yeah. So I really like. So when I think of like favorite planet, I kind of think of it in terms of looking through a telescope. Like, what's my favorite one to look at? My favorite one to look at is Jupiter. And it's not even because of the planet itself. It's because of Jupiter as a whole has dozens of moons, but it has these 4 Galilean moons that are large and reflective and can be observed easily from Earth, even with like a backyard telescope. And one of the first times I had like a good telescope and I was looking at Jupiter, I was just looking at Jupiter for, 20, 30 minutes, just kind of going back in and observing and trying to take some pictures and doing some imaging and things like that. And the planet itself was cool. But the thing that really kind of struck me, because it kind of looked the same, my telescope was tracking the planet and it's huge, so it kind of looks the same for all the 30 minutes I was looking at it. But while I was looking at it, these 4 little dots kept changing positions. Because these 4 moons were like orbiting around and switching around. So while the planet kind of looks static from my view, the moons were jumping around and were active. And that was one of those where it's like, I knew I was looking at a planet. I knew those were moons. I knew exactly what I was looking at. But to just kind of see it change like that and to see those moons orbit around and say, well, now there's only 3 because the 4th one went behind it. That just kind of fascinated me in a way that was hard to put my finger on. So I have a special spot for Jupiter. I know most people prefer Saturn. They love looking at Saturn when I do telescope
because of the rings. Yeah,
because of the rings. And Saturn's gorgeous. And if I
doesn't Jupiter have rings too?
Jupiter does. I don't believe. I'm honestly not. I don't remember if it does. A lot of the planets do. They're just very small and kind of understated. And you can't really
I thought
see them.
another
I can't remember
planet
Jupiter's
had rings.
one. I know Uranus and Neptune do. I can't remember Jupiter, but yeah, every time I say I'm going to go out to do a telescope event in my town and say it's Saturn, I'll get a huge crowd because everyone loves Saturn. But Jupiter is my personal favorite. Though Saturn has really interesting moons, so
yeah,
with the waters though.
So one of the reasons how I knew like other planets have rings is because like when I was like 9 or 10, we had a talent show, and I did like a comedy, right? But I wasn't funny for a 9 or 10-year-old. And I was like, oh,
not even for a 9 or 10-year-old. Like you were below average even for a 9-year-old.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a compliment, but yeah.
I mean, you've gotten pretty far then. So I'll congratulate you on getting somewhere after all of that, because that's a rough start.
Yeah. Well, no, I remember I did it, right? And one of my jokes I said, so Saturn, the planet Saturn has rings, so ladies, they're married, right?
Yeah,
like I
leave them
tried
alone.
to
Hands off.
And then the stupid science teacher is like, other planets have rings too. That's why it wasn't funny. I was like,
they just take them off when they go out.
Yeah,
that's what's happening there. They just take them off.
I wasn't quick-witted. I didn't know that. You know what I mean? So I was like,
yeah. If your teachers could see,
ridiculous.
Super, super impressed.
I know, because we made that joke better.
Yeah.
Like if I
so
could
how
go
did you
back
get into? How did you get into the? You said you've kind of been into space stuff. How did you get into it? Like, clearly when you're little, but
I mean, well, I just like it because it's kind of like it's the one thing a piece, really. Because like
that's
right.
That's right. It's a good calm thing for you. You might like radio astronomy.
Maybe.
Even though it sounds, but just kind of like it's a good job for like kind of being by yourself and at night without a lot of people around, and yeah, it's a good kind of quiet procedural gig.
The best way I could describe it is like, when you fall asleep and you listen to sounds of the waves or whatever.
Yeah.
When you
got a favorite color?
Yeah. Space, there's nothing. So you're just literally... I feel like that's just pure peace. So like I feel like when... I don't like to talk about religion, but I feel like when I die, I hope that's heaven, where it's just pure peace.
It's just quiet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would take it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Mark. So I got 2 more questions for you because I want to
All
respect
right.
your time.
I got 1.5 answers.
That's a good answer. All right. I wanted to ask you. So with Isaac and the Planet Nine, like, did you? Because like I said, I haven't read the book, but did you write it where like there's going to be sequels, or is it just a one story done?
It really is a one story done. I did.
Okay.
I wrote it as a one story done. I get asked that. It's very flattering when people ask that, like who've read the book, and they're like, "We want another." It's like, what? I don't know. I don't have one. I've thought about a slight spin-off. There's another major character in the book that I've thought about, kind of a prequel idea, maybe to show how that character got to where they are, but probably not a sequel at the least. Yeah, it's probably
prequel.
done.
It's probably about the puppy, right?
It's going to be told. Yeah, it'll be Lego Lego puppy.
From the puppy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then my last question, because you said you were in Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be the most random question you've ever heard.
This is going to be the best part of the whole show right here. I can tell already.
Yeah. But since you're in Chicago, and I want you to answer honestly, have you ever met or had an experience with John Cusack?
Yes.
Really? Can you share this?
Yes. He's a huge astronomy fan.
Oh, is he?
He loves astronomy. Yeah, he loves space.
Oh my gosh.
He had a birthday party that was at the Adler Planetarium.
Oh my
in
gosh.
the observatory, so him and his friends could look at stuff and do like a private viewing and things like that. And I got to help out with that a little bit.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Beyond knowing that I've been in several sports arenas where he was also there, but that was like a much more close encounter of the Cusack kind. So yeah.
Oh my god, John Cusack is like
Not
my
his sister,
hero.
Not his sister, but him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cusack's my
once.
hero, man. So
Yeah,
like,
just once.
whenever
He's
you meet
he's
him,
very
you're
cool.
like,
I thought he was pretty cool already, and then I learned he was into space and astronomy. And I thought, okay, well, that's just getting better. So, yep.
oh my god, that's fantastic. All right, Mark. Well, where can the folks at home follow and support you at?
Yeah, so they can go to my website, which is authormarkbenson.com, markbenson.com. And if you're on social medias like Instagram, you're going to find me at Wayside Writer.
Wayside Writer.
Yep, because I write on the side.
Oh, nice. And then you do space during the day,
And then I do
right?
space stuff the rest of the time. Yeah, stare at the sun as much as I can and then go write stuff. Yeah.
Well, Mark, it was good to meet you, man. And like I said, you're my first author, so hopefully
Awesome.
I did a good job.
You just spread the word to all your producer buddies, and we'll cash in. Yeah,
I will. Next time I see John
version of this story. Yeah.
I'll be like, hey, John, you like space? I got a great space idea for you.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mark. Well, have a great day, buddy, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks. You too.
All right. All right, Rifters, that was the show. Subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, and buy Mark Benson's book, Isaac and the Journey to Planet 9, on Mark's website and Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, I'm assuming, all that good jazz. All the stuff. All right, subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts.